I want you to think about the last time you got paid. That moment when the deposit hits and you open your app, and for about 30 seconds you feel okay. You feel like you have room. Like this time, it might actually work out differently. And then life starts happening. Rent, groceries, your phone bill, gas, a dinner out, a couple of things from Amazon you barely remember ordering, a subscription you forgot about, a copay, a birthday gift. And by day 10, sometimes day 7, that feeling of room is just gone. And you're back to watching your balance like it's something you can't fully trust. If that's familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not bad with money. You have just never been shown a system that was actually built for the income you have right now. Because here's the truth that most financial content will never say out loud. Almost all of the budgeting advice you find online, max out your 401k, invest 20%, build 6 months of expenses and savings, was written for people making $80,000, $100,000 a year. And when you're working with $2,000 a month, that advice doesn't just feel out of reach. It makes you feel like you're already behind. Like the starting line was somewhere you never got to stand. That ends today. By the end of this video, you're going to have a complete, honest budget built for $2,000 a month. Not a fantasy version, not a sacrifice everything version. One where you cover your life, save real money, and start building something that actually compounds over time. But before I show you the framework, I need to show you the thing that's quietly working against you. The mechanism you probably don't even know exists. There's a term I want you to carry through this entire video: stuff heavy, cash light. You appear to have a full life, nice shoes, a decent phone, a few streaming services, the apartment that looks fine on the outside. But your actual financial foundation underneath all of it is hollow. This isn't a character flaw. This is the designed outcome of systems that profit every single time you stay in it. The question is whether you stay. Here's how most people manage $2,000 a month without realizing it. Money comes in, bills go out. Whatever's left, you float on it. Buy what feels reasonable. Order food when you're tired. Grab the thing that's on sale, until the balance gets low enough that you start paying attention again. And then the next paycheck comes and it resets. That's not a budget. That's a default. And the financial industry is built around it because a person who's always floating is always one emergency away from needing a credit card. Here's the concept I want to give you, and once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Every dollar you spend today doesn't just cost you $1. It costs you what that dollar would have become if you'd kept it and let it grow. That sounds simple. It doesn't feel simple when you actually see the math. Let's run the numbers that most people never run. The average American in their 20s and 30s has 4 streaming services: Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Max. Total, around $62 a month. Seems harmless, right? $62 per month times 12 months equals $744 per year. $744 per year times 10 years at 7% average growth equals $10,280 in lost future wealth. $10,000 for services running in the background that you're too tired to watch half the time. Now the phone plan. If you're on a legacy carrier paying $90 to $100 a month, the exact same network coverage is available from budget carriers for $25 to $35 a month. Let's call in a $65 difference. $65 per month times 12 equals $780 per year. $780 per year times 10 years at 7% growth equals $10,768 in lost future wealth. That's over $10,000 for a brand name on your phone plan that nobody can see. And then there's the one that gets almost everyone on this income level, the lifestyle creep multiplier. Every time your income goes up, even slightly, your spending increases automatically, not because you decided to spend more, because you simply stopped noticing the gaps. You got a small raise last year. Do you know exactly where that money went? Most people don't. It just got absorbed into the current. That absorption is the mechanism, and it's running quietly in the background of almost every $2,000 a month life right now. But here's the part that will actually surprise you: why smart, aware people still fall into this trap. The answer has nothing to do with intelligence. Here's something they never teach in school. Your brain has 2 financial operating modes. Neuroscientists call them the present bias system and the future bias system, and they are in constant conflict. The present bias system is ancient, hundreds of thousands of years old. It evolved on one core rule: get the resource now, because tomorrow it might be gone. Eat the food, Take the shelter, don't wait. That system is running inside you right now, and it was perfectly designed for surviving on the savannah. It is catastrophically bad at building a budget in 2026. Here's what billion-dollar marketing budgets figured out about that ancient brain. Only 3 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. Limited time offer. Others are viewing this right now. Every single one of those phrases is a direct attack on your present bias system. They're triggering a prehistoric panic reflex. Get it before it's gone. On a $47 item you weren't thinking about 4 minutes ago. A Princeton study found that financial stress alone, just the chronic low-level anxiety of having limited money, temporarily reduces effective cognitive performance by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points, not because people are less intelligent, because their mental bandwidth is consumed by survival-level stress, leaving less capacity for the deliberate, future-oriented thinking that would actually fix the problem. Financial anxiety makes it harder to make the good decisions that would reduce the anxiety. It's a trap that feeds itself. Identity signaling spend. Purchases made not for utility, but to broadcast a version of yourself to others, or to yourself. The phone upgrade that's just better. The apartment in the right area. The car that quietly says, "I'm doing fine." These aren't irrational purchases, they're deeply human ones. The problem is they can eat $400, $500, $600 a month on a $2,000 income, compounding silently into the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The antidote is not willpower. Research consistently shows willpower is a depleting resource. It runs out by end of day for most people. That's when the late-night orders happen. That's when the cart gets filled. The antidote is structure. A system built when you're thinking clearly, that runs automatically when you're not. Here is the system. 5 rules, all built on one principle. Make good decisions easy, and make bad decisions require effort. You're not relying on your tired 10 p.m. brain. You're relying on a structure you designed when you were clear. Rule 1. The 60-second morning money minute. Every morning, before Instagram, before texts, open your banking app and look at 3 numbers: your checking balance, your savings balance, and yesterday's total spending. 60 seconds. That's it. This one habit keeps money visible before the day buries it. And visibility alone changes behavior. When you can't see where money goes, it goes everywhere. When you look every morning, the unnecessary spending becomes obvious and uncomfortable, which is exactly what you want. Rule 2. Automate before you see it. The day you get paid, money moves automatically to a separate high-yield savings account at a different bank, not the same app. 2 steps to access. Before you buy anything, before you even check your balance, you never find the money to save. The money saves itself. You live on what remains. That is not a small distinction. That is the entire game. Remove the decision from the moment, and you remove the temptation from the equation. Rule 3. The 72-hour purchase pause. Any purchase over $30 that isn't food, bills, or fuel, wait 72 hours. Put it in a note in your phone labeled "Considering." Don't buy it immediately. What you'll discover, roughly 70% of the items on that list, you'll forget about by hour 48. The desire just evaporates. That's your present bias system running out of steam. The things that genuinely matter to you will still be there at 72 hours, and you'll feel confident buying them. Rule 4. Delete the friction points. Add friction to spending. Remove every shopping app from your phone. Amazon, Target, any one-tap retail app, gone. You can still purchase online, you just have to go through a browser, log in, re-enter your details. That extra 3 to 4 minutes eliminates the vast majority of impulse purchases. Simultaneously, make saving frictionless. One automatic transfer, pre-scheduled, requiring nothing from you. The asymmetry is the whole point. Rule 5. The Sunday Sunset Spending Review. Once a week, Sunday night 10 minutes, review the week's spending, not to judge yourself, just to see. Categorize everything. Then ask one question. Did this spending reflect who I'm trying to become? That question sounds soft. It is not soft. It connects daily spending decisions to personal identity, which is the exact lever that marketing has been using against you this whole time. You're just flipping it. Here's what I want you to understand about where this framework actually takes you. There is a dollar amount in savings and investments where something genuinely shifts. Where the low-level financial anxiety that most people carry around every day, that background hum of "am I okay? Am I behind? What happens if something breaks?" that hum starts to fade. Not because you're wealthy, because your money has reached a mass where it begins to grow on its own in a way you can actually feel. That number is $100,000. At a 7% average annual return, the long-term historical average of a broad U.S. index fund, $100,000 grows by $7,000 in a single year without you adding a single dollar. That's nearly $600 a month in growth, more than many people's rent. Working money sleep while you're at your job, while you're living your life. Now let's see how the 2K Freedom Framework gets you there. Saving $200 a month, 10% of $2,000, into a low-cost index fund at a 7% average annual return. $200 a month for 20 years at 7% equals approximately $104,000. 20 years, you're in your mid-40s, not retired, but financially unbreakable. Your money is now working harder than most people's entire paychecks. But here's where it gets better. Have you heard of Coast Fire? Coast Fire, the point at which you've invested enough that even if you never invested another single dollar, your portfolio will compound on its own to a full retirement by age 65. You've done the hard part. Now you coast. For someone starting at 25, contributing $200 a month, they hit Coast Fire somewhere around age 35 to 37. In about 10 years, the mandatory investing is done. After that, it's optional. You can keep building, or you can redirect that $200 toward living more freely. More travel, more time, more choices. That is not a big income producing this outcome. That is $200 a month applied consistently inside a system that removes the friction from doing it. $200 a month from $2,000, and in 10 years, you've crossed the line where your money works for you even if you stop. That's not rich. That's free. And free, on any income, is what this was always really about. I want to end with something that reframes everything we've talked about today. Because when most people hear $2,000 a month, they hear limitation. They hear not enough. They hear the version of life they're tolerating until something better arrives. But here's what the 2K Freedom Framework actually builds. It's not a number. It's the ability to tell your boss no, and mean it, without your hands shaking. It's not staying in a city you've outgrown because you can't afford to leave. It's saying yes to a relationship, a move, an opportunity, not because the timing is perfect, but because you're not trapped. It's taking a month off when you genuinely need to, not a vacation, just off, because your emergency fund is real, your savings account is quietly growing, and your spending is under your control. That is optionality, and optionality is the actual product of everything in this framework. Not wealth in the way it gets talked about online, the cars, the houses, the highlight reel. Just the quiet, steady ability to make choices that aren't entirely driven by financial fear. That is the most expensive thing most people never buy, because they're too busy spending on the things that keep them exactly where they are. Here's your one thing. Not a list. One thing. Set an alarm on your phone right now, for tomorrow morning, and label it Money Minute. When it goes off, open your banking app and just look. Checking balance, savings balance, yesterday's spending. 60 seconds. That's it. That's how this starts. Not with a perfect budget. Not with a 5-year financial plan. With 60 seconds of clear-eyed awareness every morning until it becomes automatic. Until it becomes the kind of person you just are. You already did the hardest part today. You sat with this information when most people would have clicked away. That matters more than you think. I'm Rick. This is Rick Explains, real talk about money and building a life that makes sense on the income you actually have. If this video shifted something for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. New video every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it.